and right into the stretch. Looking back and throws up the middle. Rose is on his way around. Picked up by Otis.
Here comes the ready and not. Here comes the boys from the south. Here comes the ready and not. How you like me now? I say, here comes the boom, ready and not. Here comes the boys from the south. Boom, here comes the boom, ready and not. How you like me now?
You don't live in Cleveland, you live in Cincinnati.
I just woke up.
I can tell.
You are watching live the best Sam Cincinnati sports podcast this side of Oakland.
Northgate Mall.
Oakland.
Northgate Mall.
We'll get into that in a second. My name is Santori Miles. Tri-Health just texted me. I have an appointment soon. And Bengal Dad is here.
Yes, I am.
How we doing?
I'm doing good. Just got off work. Relaxing. Get ready to talk a little Reds, talk a little Bengals. We are 97 hours away from kickoff of the first preseason game.
What threw me off guard, and I guess this will be maybe a live news thing for you. I don't know how live it is. Maybe I just found out and the rest of the world already knows. Because I have been asleep since noon. It's a wonderful off day.
Mm-hmm.
One of the what I would consider major players in the history of Major League Baseball passed away today.
I didn't hear. Who passed away?
Billy Beane. The implicator of Moneyball.
Brad
Pitt. My dogs are going nuts, which means Ashley's going to be home any second. So RIP to Billy Beane, the guy that put baseball on a spreadsheet and made it very, very, very fun for guys like me who maybe, I can read numbers better than I can read talent sometimes. So it's a sad day for me. But I love the movie Moneyball. I loved what he was able to do early on with the Oakland A's. It's a shame what has become of the Oakland A's since, but rest in peace, Billy.
He found a way to win without spending money.
As God intended.
You know what that is? That's baseball.
That's smart.
Yeah. He proved how stupid teams like the Yankees are.
Mm-hmm. I literally in the middle of that video, I get a text that says Billy Beane died, and I'm going, so that's somebody I really, really admire. So that one stings me a little bit. Sorry if I'm rambling on, but it's never fun to find out something like that.
Well, let's talk about somebody I don't admire.
I know where this is going. David, freaking idiot, non-emotional milquetoast Bell. You know the Reds should be a playoff team. Did you say non-emotional what?
Milquetoast.
What is milquetoast?
A milquetoast is somebody that's plain and bland and has just nothing. He's a flatliner. He's a milquetoast.
Which leads to my next question. How many mornings have I witnessed you eating milk and toast?
That doesn't make you a milquetoast if you eat it.
Well, you are what you eat, Dan.
Anyway, the Reds should be a playoff team. They have two pitchers in the top 10 in the National League, starting pitchers in ERA. They got Ellie De La Cruz. They got Steer. They got enough. But what they're not led properly. They win a game like last night, win a game handily 7-3. They're playing one of the worst teams in baseball. But they're going to find a way to sleepwalk through at least one of these games and score 0 runs or 1 run. because David Bell can't keep the pedal down.
Well, and as I mentioned, that Billy Beane was one of my favorite general managers. One of my least favorite general managers, although he did help to a degree, Jim Bowden was on Twitter today saying, because there's a giant algorithm. Again, there's some things about Moneyball I love, some things about Moneyball I hate. Moneyball did prove you can win without spending money. However, it also led to the existential bullshit that is sabermetrics at times.
Well, yeah, I can't stand all those statistics.
But there is one that more or less weighs your schedule, the amount of runs you've scored, and how many wins you should have based on all of that.
Oh, yeah.
That's a fine one. I don't mind that too often. If you score X amount of runs, you should win X amount of games. Based on the Reds' run differential,
It's really not how many how many games you should win. I believe it's for every 10 runs that you are up in run differential is how many games you should be over 500.
Right. The Reds right now should be about 59 and 52. And he said, so what am I missing? He said, the pitching's good, the hitting's good, the bullpen's good. I said,
they can't win close games.
I said, Jim, you can't win close games. I said, it's what I put out there to quote myself directly was, I think it was analytics or sabermetrics, whatever word I used, do not measure intangibles. Intangibles would be things like heart, winning close games, management style. If you can't win a close game, that makes your win-loss record with a good run differential look horrible. Those one-run games mean a lot.
Again, I don't know, because to me, sabermetrics is just like another language with all the different RC plus bull crap. I don't know what all that is.
Sure.
Does it ever measure manufacturing a run?
I don't know.
Because manufacturing
I haven't
runs
looked too far into it.
Well, manufacturing runs is how you win close games.
There's a handful of sabermetrics that I genuinely like. One of them is on base percentage. That was not something that was measured in the 70s, 80s, or 90s. We can find it out. I mean, it's a really easy formula. It's just times reached base divided by plate appearances. But on base percentage is one, slugging percentage is one, OPS is one. Again, just an extrapolation on batting average, which apparently doesn't count anymore. But there's so many things like weighted runs created. Oh my God. I don't even want to go down that rabbit hole. You're either a good ball player or you're not. It's not hard to see.
A player that flies in the face of a lot of these sabermetrics?
Ellie.
You're not supposed to steal bases. I don't think you're supposed to take extra bases.
You're not supposed to
risk. You're not supposed to risk getting out on the base paths.
Nope. It's supposed to be station to station, walks and singles.
But I would venture to say that Ellie is probably one of the top 2 or 3 most disruptive players without a bat in his hand.
Well, again, that's something that sabermetrics can't measure. You can't measure what it does to somebody's head. You can't put a value on the heart rate of John Lester when Billy Hamilton's on first base. There's no number for what that does to the game.
I like the way you brought up John Lester.
It just is what it is. That's the extreme of it. But those were some of the most fun. I mean, if you didn't like John Lester, or even if you didn't care for him, like I liked him as a pitcher. I would have loved to have had him. I didn't hate him by any stretch of the imagination. He was just a good ball player. But when we would play against him, if I got somebody with any amount of speed on first base, it was like, here we go. There's no number for what happened to him when a base runner got off. There's no metric. There's no analytics. It's just baseball.
You know what I think they need to bring back? I'm going to bring this one back from probably 20-plus years ago.
The bullpen cart, where they drive you out in a baseball helmet.
No, when you get a base stealer on base, why not do the split screen?
I'd love that.
I mean, when
Especially
Joe
with
Morgan got on
when
base,
Ellie's on right now. Oh my God, everybody be dialed in.
I think they ought to bring back the split screen just for Ellie.
I
I
think
think
they
that
ought
would
to.
be cool if
I
Bally's
think.
did that.
I think, and I'm gonna clip this, and I'm gonna clip it from where I just said that. And my apologies to everybody at MLB Network, but this is who's getting tagged. I don't know if you guys have something like NFL Red Zone. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But anytime somebody with any amount of base stealing potential gets on base in a tight game, you ought to cut to that game. You could have just a 2 or 3 hour segment every single night starting at 7 o'clock with all those games that go on 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, whatever it is, when all the games start, 8 p.m. Central. And any time you got, runners in scoring position in a tight game, or you got, a guy with the ability of Ellie at first or second base, hell, even third, if it's a tight game, because that's just a skipped ball in the dirt away from being a run. Guys like Acuna, who are going to steal those 50 bases a year. They ought to go do that, and they ought to go to the split screen. I mean, you talk about ways to try and save baseball. I know the views are up and everything, but there's ways that you could make it really, really, really exciting. Or if you really wanted to, because there's people like you and I that don't believe teams don't go first to third enough anymore, you could have one of those MLB Network segments where anytime there is a first to third or a ball shot in the gap and a guy scores from first on a double to right center field and there's a play at the plate, you could just have that as your MLB, red zone, so to say, and just have it constant action around baseball for 2 hours a night. I think that would be worth it. I'd watch it, especially if the Reds weren't on.
I'm just sticking with the split screen. I think it's simple. I would just bring it back just for the players that you really know that wreak the havoc on the bases. Because it's fun. I mean, I like watching Ellie hit, but when he gets on base, I'm not going to the bathroom.
Well, here's the thing. If Ellie's up to hit, I don't know what he's hitting this year. I assume it's somewhere around 260.
He's hitting 260 right now.
Okay. There's a 26% chance if he hits the ball, something really cool is going to happen if it's a hit. He typically doesn't have a bleeder that falls in. And if he does, he's going to stretch it.
Considering he probably strikes out about 20% of the time, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That means there's actually a 46% chance. Well, I'm sorry. There's about a 46% chance when he hits the ball that it's going to be a hit. It's going to be half the time he hits the ball is almost a hit.
I wonder what his batting average on ball and play is. That is one metric I like. When you hit the ball, how often is it a hit?
But I'll tell you a stat that you never see about Ellie. I was thinking about this last night. I wonder what his average is with runners in scoring position.
Probably not great.
150?
I don't know. I could pull it up, though.
They never talk about that when they bring up all these other things about Ellie De La Cruz. But somehow, for all of his accomplishments, he still doesn't have 50 RBIs yet this year.
It's because he does not get big hits in big moments.
It makes you appreciate Joe Morgan, which I never appreciated. I just didn't really – I wasn't a big fan of his as a kid.
Sure.
But it was either 75 or 76. He hit 27 home runs. He drove in like 110 runs, and he had like 50 or 60 stolen bases. And his batting average was over 300.
What did you want to know? 2 outs, runners in scoring position?
Yeah.
What did you guess?
150. I might be high.
You are high, but not by much. 146.
There you go. You can just kind of feel this stuff. And runners in scoring position and 2 outs?
No, that was with 2 outs.
Oh, okay.
Runners in scoring position
in general, I would say he might be closer to 200.
220.
The guy doesn't perform when there's men on base. Now, I bet you his batting average is the highest with men on base when it's just a man at first. but they probably don't have that stat.
They will on Baseball Reference, just not on the site I'm on right now.
He just either you can say the pitchers are pitching him tighter in those situations. He tightens up.
Well, here's the thing. With runners in scoring position, 220. Runners in scoring position, 2 outs, 146. Bases loaded, 125.
That's terrible. That's where most your quality players excel because the pressure's on the pitcher.
He gets worse. After 0-1, he's a 190 hitter. That makes sense. After a 1-0 count, he's a 260 hitter. His at bat is made after the first pitch.
Yeah, when he starts to fall behind in the count, he expands the zone, he always takes a pitch, and I will say they call an awful lot of strikes on him that are more than just borderline pitches.
I'll say this too, and we mentioned it early on, but I forget where I was at work, and this just goes to show the difference between new age baseball fans and older baseball fans. And bless this woman's heart, she was probably about 75, 80 years old. Kind of reminded me of your mom. We're sitting there, and she said, boy, how about that Ellie? And I said, yeah. I said, he's a little inconsistent for me. I said, but there's no doubt he's going to be a superstar. He's got more talent, I think, than just about anybody I've ever seen. I mean, he's got just as much talent as Junior did. He just hasn't put it all together yet. And I'll go out there on a limb and say that, because Junior, I think, was the most talented player I've ever seen in my life. And you know how high of a regard I hold Ken Griffey Jr. And she said, and it just shows you this random woman's acumen for baseball. I just wish he would wear higher socks, and it might stop the low strikes. And I'm like, oh, I did not expect that from a Randy. But kudos to her. It's just a comment like that shows you how much she pays attention and just those little nuances of the game. But I'm surprised he hasn't done that yet. That would help. Mm-hmm. Even if it's just one pitch a game, it would help.
You know, it's kind of weird. It might just be coincidental. I know you don't watch the games nearly as close as I do anymore.
I keep tabs. I can't. Well, I've canceled my cable too, so I don't watch them. But well, I'll say I scoreboard and spreadsheet watch.
Well, in the one game they beat the Giants, I believe it was the Giants. I don't think it was yet. Yeah, it was the Giants. The pitcher, it was the left-handed pitcher, Harrison, for the Giants. He thought he had India struck out. He threw one right below the knees, looked like a strike to me, called it a ball. India wears his socks all the way up, and you can see all the way to his kneecaps. And I'm wondering if he got the call because of how he wore his socks. The next pitch, India hit a home run. And it's just like, if Ellie would do that, maybe it would force them to throw the ball a little bit higher. And who knows what damage you do with 2 or 3 more inches of height.
You also don't realize what damage it does to a pitcher. They're very fickle people. They're like kickers in football. If you get into pitcher's head, they're done. Like, they're toast. They are milk and toast, right? Milk toast, whatever you call it.
Milk toast.
Milk and toast. But I mean, how many times have we seen it? Name a pitcher where he thought he's got strike 3 called, takes that half a step off the mound of the dugout, and then he's rattled and can't throw a strike for the next batter. It happens.
Well, it happened about 3 nights ago to that guy that threw the no-hitter against us, but he controlled himself. He got to the point where one time thought he had a guy struck out, and he jumped up and down 2 or 3 times on the mound and then started arguing with the umpire. I thought he was going to get thrown out of the game. It was like the 3rd inning of that game. And then he sliced and diced us. I don't even talk about that game.
I honestly didn't even know it happened until I woke up the next morning and said no-hitter alert, and this was whatever, and I rolled over. And then, again, the same guy that texted me that Billy Bean passed texted me, LOL, the Reds got no hit. And I was like, oh, it happened to be us. Great. It almost feels like that happens once a year under David Bell, doesn't it? I had never seen it in my life until David Bell was a manager.
Well, they've only been no hit one time under David Bell. Who was the second? When was the other one?
The A's got us 2 years ago.
The A's
Fire.
did?
Yeah, Fire's got us in Oakland.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's happened a few times under David. More than once. Not to mention all the times that we've gone into the seventh inning with like one hit.
Well, I mean, that happens.
Well, that's a nightly occurrence.
I don't know how many games they've played this year where they've been being no hit at least through 4. Seems like it's been at least 10 times.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're wasting half of a game and getting nothing done.
Well, that's enough bitching on David. Baseball season is about, in my opinion, 3.5 days from being over.
Yeah, we've got fake football starting here.
That means we've made it. We've made it to football season. Joe Burrow ain't hurt yet, which is further than we got last year.
I'm assuming that he's going to play Saturday, albeit a couple handoffs and a screen pass.
They asked him in the Kay Adams interview, what's your perfect scenario for playing on Saturday night? And he said, I'd like to go in there, have a touchdown drive, and get out. So I probably it's going to be one drive. They're probably going to push it and see what they can do. I would assume they're not going to do anything too wild and crazy, and it'll be one drive. And then the next game might be a quarter. Get them out. And then I wouldn't anticipate anybody in the third game.
Third game, no way.
That's your
I would like to see the offensive line play for 2 or 3 series. That's more important than Joe Burrow playing, is having that offensive line get a little bit of continuity. The continuity that they might gain and the rust that they knock it off there, not against the Patriots on September 8th. The rust should already be done and gone. And every year they go into these things and they're playing in that first game and they're super rusty. Can't do that.
No, and I think they knew it last year, but then I think Joe got hurt and everything just kind of got thrown out the window. I think they really, really know it this year.
I want to see if they actually do go under center a relatively high percentage of the time.
It's really all I've seen in camp. You still see a lot of shotgun in camp, but it's I've seen more. I think I've seen more clips of them under center in camp than I have out of the gun or pistol.
Do you think we're ever going to see any 2 backfield looks, 2 running backs in the backfield?
Maybe once or twice, maybe once a game. I don't think it's going to be anything consistent. I'm sure there's a package or 2 for it. I think what would benefit is I think that Zach Moss can do anything you want a traditional running back to do. And I think that if you absolutely wanted to do something a little squirrely, pardon me, you could put Chase Brown in the slot, bring him in motion. You just some little things like that, where if Burrow's under center and here comes Chase Brown, I can either give it to him, give it to Zach, fake it to both, fake it to one or the other. I mean, there are things you could do, but keep in mind, if you're going to go that route, and again, this is just a numbers game, you're either taking a tight end or a wide receiver off the field. Depending where you're at on the field, what defensive look you're in, how things are going, that's not a problem. It's just the idea of taking one of the tight ends off the field, or if I have a tight end and 2 backs, so taking either Chase T or Andre/Burton off the field, I'm not sure how I like. Or I know they're trying to run a lot of 2 tight end sets. If you've got 2 backs and 2 tight ends, I only have 1 wide receiver. you can do all kinds of stuff with it, but it's just got to be the right personnel matchups and the right scheme for what you're wanting to see. It all comes down to looks.
Is that your fire alarm that's tripping, or is it mine?
Yes, it's mine.
Okay. I like the question that you posed yesterday. If you had to sacrifice one player, but that meant Joe Burrow would be healthy all year.
It's a mean question.
Which starter on either side of the ball would you sacrifice? I like that one. Maybe we'll get a couple comments down the right side. I'd like to see what their thoughts would be. Which player would you sacrifice?
I don't think you'll get it from the 4 regular people that are watching. Maybe Stranger will answer. I don't think Chop, Darth, or Greg will give an answer on who they would want to see hurt. I don't think that's in them. I'm not saying they're not tough enough to say it. They're just not the kind of person that wants to see anybody hurt.
Well, I don't want to see anybody hurt, but if you told me right now, if player X is out for the year and that guarantees Joe Burrow is healthy for the whole year, I'm ready. Let's go. Let's just give somebody a hangnail for 4 months and they're limping all the time.
Instead of an injury, let's just say for whatever reason they don't touch the field. Suspension, it's literally just if you don't play at all, Burrow's healthy, whatever. So we'll just call it a sacrifice. If you could sacrifice one starter of the probably normal 30 guys, and I'll include some rotational guys in there because you do have 3 starting defensive ends with Murphy, Hubbard, and Hendrickson. You do have 3 starting defensive tackles. You do have 3 starting corners. You have 3 starting receivers. It's probably closer to 30 guys. If you could sacrifice any of those 30, and I know your answer already. You said it yesterday.
Yeah. Nobody's answered yet.
Well, we got 2 people watching.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. We're back to original rally days.
This is good.
Well, we changed the day. We changed the time.
Well, we don't even announce when we're on.
And we don't announce when we're going on.
You know why? Because this is a phone call that's going on here.
Mm-hmm. Marshall is in the chat. So he said, sorry, I'm late. See, this is what I'm talking about. If Tyler Bowlesley, the show is on, he'd be in here. I think I need to do a little bit better job of promoting the show. And just like that, we're up to 5.
He's not a starter.
Poor job, he's not a starter.
Not a starter.
I think everybody in this city would agree with you. But I got to start putting these out on Spotify again. I'm sure that would help expand our reach. But
my son would probably say Tyson Anderson.
Listen, I don't hate Tyson Anderson. I don't want him hurt. I just don't think he's as good as what everybody said. He's been here 3 years. I haven't seen him do anything yet. That's the telltale sign. But for those listening in the chat, Pork Chop said Cincinnati's own and beloved Jackson Carman. Dad, go ahead and roll out your answer. You'll piss some people off, but it's all right.
Well, Dax Hill. He hasn't done anything yet. You don't miss anything from somebody who hasn't done anything yet.
I got to think of a starter.
I can't imagine that there would be anybody that would be upset to make that trade-off of guaranteeing Joe Burrow's health for all 17 games and sacrifice not being on the field Dax Hill.
I think I have one offensively. And this is mean, but it's the route we're going here.
I got a comment about the offense too, by the way, when you're done.
Okay. I know the Bengals staff considers him a starter, but I'll ask you, and I guess it'll give it away from the way I'm posing the question. Do you consider Drew Sample a starter? Because when he's healthy, he's out there an awful lot.
Not really.
Okay, then we won't consider him. Because I would say
they don't go with 2 tight ends a ton, do they?
No, but he's typically the guy.
But because Gesicki's going to be that tight end now.
He'll be the true move tight end. Yes.
Pork Chop said he bumped Jackson Carman up the depth chart just for this drill. But did you happen to see the interview with is it Trent Brown, the big guy they got from the Patriots?
Yeah, he's kind of a schlep.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't like his attitude at all. No, I don't need to practice. I think it's overrated. This
Well,
and that.
this is also the guy that's always 15 to 20 pounds overweight, and that's
Well,
the
he looked
reason.
like he was about 50 pounds overweight. To me.
Man, maybe this is an R-rated topic for this, but like his titties were down by his belly button.
Oh yeah,
I couldn't see his nipples in the camera.
right.
I was like, "Where are your muscles, brother?"
He reminded me a lot of Andre Smith.
He's Andre Smith with a lot. Here's the difference, though. When Andre Smith played, at times he was okay. When Trent Brown plays, he's good.
Is Trent Brown going to be a starter,
I don't know
or is Mims going to beat him out?
if the way he is. When I say he, I mean Brown. If the way Brown is carrying himself, and I don't mean physically, I just mean mentally. The way that he carried himself in that interview, I would say that Mims is going to blow him out of the water. And that you'll probably see Trent Brown be released. Because he's one of those guys that if he doesn't get the start, he's going to run his fucking mouth. And he's one of those guys that doesn't take care of himself. Right. There's a little bit of a... it's the reason why I was against signing him, but we were so desperate to have a right tackle or a left tackle, whatever it is, that I was kind of like, I gotta do something for a tackle. But if you remember, I was always like, look, this is the guy that misses time because he can't stay not fat. That's what it is. People asked what the pup list was, and today on that interview or whenever it came out, they asked why were you on the pup or what was the delay, and he's like, I'd prefer not to get into that. Well, of course not. You don't want to say you're a fat piece of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and Zach Taylor, I remember we were in the group chat one time for our the podcasters, and they said, yeah, Zach Taylor said he stretched. I said, his fucking stretch marks popped. Like, look, he's stretching his skin too much from eating. And I know the exact feeling, brother. He's not taking care of himself. It's the same old song and dance with him every offseason. I hope to God it works out. I hope to God it performs well. I'm going to root like hell for him. But the criticism is very much warranted. He does this every year, and then he comes out in an interview and acts like he's, it was entitled is the way it felt. I don't need to practice. It's not important to be out there. I don't want to get into why I was late to the team. You're late, you're fat, and you don't want to practice. Great. If I was a reporter, I'd have said that straight to his face. That'd have been the last time I'd have been allowed in that locker room, but that's what I'd have said.
Poor chap. He's got a quote from that.
Yes, it's like riding
a horse. I think he said that, then he looked at his body and he went, oh, a bike.
Yeah.
That poor horse.
Yeah.
The horse ought to be riding him.
Mm-hmm. Freaking dense motherfucker. Oh, my God. I just...
So we got anything else?
Maybe I'm mean. But and I know I'm an overweight guy myself. We were joking in the chat that Cam Sample went down. They said they need a DE. I said, well, I'm about 290. I can slide in and out. I'll play outside. I'll play inside. I can't promise you I'm going to do anything. I might do the submarine technique and just dive at someone's ankles. Plug up a hole real quick.
I can't even imagine watching you try to tackle Lamar Jackson.
Oh, my God.
You would grab air about 10 foot to either side of him. You'd be grabbing like you got it.
I would be breaking down 30 yards ahead of time. He'd be running full speed down the sideline. I'd be backpedaling. I'd be breaking down, waiting for him to get there. I got to get wider.
So what else we got to talk about? The boys of summer are starting here in about a minute.
There's not
Which
too
means
much.
Ellie will be up in about 3 minutes.
Oh, we always got to talk about our sponsors because they've agreed to stick with us during this new format since half of our show retired. So, first, Script Coffee. Do it, Dad.
You got a scroller you can put across?
I'm sure we do somewhere. I listen. If I wouldn't have woke up at 6, this would have been a much better show. Pow! Look at that.
There we go.
There, we got some sponsorships listed.
Of course,
Script
Three-Way
Coffee.
City's not a thing anymore.
It's not, but I'm still going to pump it for Adam just in case. They have dissolved. Adam is working on his music career. He said he's got some stuff coming out, but he told me to keep quiet about it, so I'll do that. But Script Coffee for Steven. Do it. Read your lines.
I don't have a line.
You had a whole bag at one point.
I don't have a bag anymore.
Where'd it go?
I don't know. Everybody tells me, though, it's great tasting coffee. I know they're the official coffee of a restaurant that I shouldn't mention, but they have become an official coffee of a restaurant that I won't mention. So it must be some darn good coffee.
I do love going to Breakfast Club, though.
What?
That's my favorite. That's my
What's that
favorite
for?
breakfast restaurant in Lebanon.
Who else we got? Well,
If they could
we
secure
got
a deal,
the Horn.
if those two restaurants could secure a deal together, that would be something.
What two restaurants?
Script Coffee and Breakfast Club.
Oh,
They need to make that happen. What?
if a Bengal. It's getting closer. That was my tail.
All right. Go ahead and say something about Midwest Best Barbecue. I know you know barbecue. You like barbecue.
I like their place. I like the barbecue. I'm not sold on the Dillon wings, the Dillonators, but I do like their Grippo wings. I like a lot of the stuff they've got there. Their pulled pork is really good. I haven't tried their ice cream. I know you were going for the ice cream, but I haven't tried the ice cream.
I tanked a little styrofoam cup of it last time I was there. It did not last.
Their prices are good. It's a good atmosphere.
And they got the cupboard cutout of T. Higgins you want to steal.
Yeah, I want that. I don't think they're going to give it to me, but I'd like to have that. Can
I
put
might
that in the barn.
I might message Nicole.
Here we go. This is an update on the barn.
What's that?
That is the key to a hydraulic electric scissors lift, which is now about to be pulled in the barn after the show.
All right.
So I will have my scissors lift to start working on the ceiling.
Skizzers.
Skizzers.
When are we expanding?
I haven't got the approval from the county yet.
Oh my God. They get their head out of their ass.
It's easier for the Bengals to get approved for a multi-million dollar stadium than it is for me to expand my barn.
Just threaten to leave. Say, you know what? If you don't,
I'm going to
approve
Baltimore.
my barn, I'm going to Baltimore. And they're going to be like, okay, go to Baltimore. And then, of course, the real OG, Brimming Oil Meadery. Imagine, if you will, it's 4,000 degrees outside this week.
Like it is right now.
You work at a car lot on the black pavement. Your Toyota Tacoma is sinking into the asphalt. And you don't want to be there. What'll get you through the day once you clock out?
And you decide to open up the truck and sit on the, we'll say, vinyl black seats with shorts on.
Listen, I got cloth in mine. I was smart. I did not do that route. But yes, let's pretend you got like Subaru StarTech seats. And they've been sweltering in the 400-degree heat.
You sit on them when you're wearing shorts, and then you make the fatal mistake of grabbing the black steering wheel.
Then the seatbelt buckle hits your left shoulder, and your left testicle sears to the seat like a steak.
That's when you need Birmingham.
Brimming Oil Meadery! When you've had a bad day, get some mead. Use our code HOODAY9, 15% off orders of $2 or 2 bottles or more. 15% off $2. Yay!
I miss Will Ferrell.
Well, it's still there. I just didn't click it today.
Well, India just struck out on a pitch about a foot and a half outside that scraped the dirt as it went by him.
Oh, 2 more things.
2 more.
We're going to go off the rails. This is Pork Chop's favorite stuff. 1.
If I interrupt you abruptly, that means Ellie did something special.
Okay. 1. This is not about food, Pork Chop. I'm sorry, but this is about baseball. Did you see it was about a week or so ago, the pitch that Javi Baez struck out on.
No.
I want you to think of the furthest outside pitch you would possibly swing at.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the furthest one I've ever seen. I was going to say Mayor Mallory.
No. The furthest one you would possibly swing at. If I got the right slider, probably the black of not the black, but the chalk of the other batter's box is probably about as far as I would actually swing.
That's where the ball hit that India just swung and missed.
Okay. When I tell you Javi swung at a pitch that may have hit the other batter, he did one of those swings where you bend over at the waist, your knees are in your armpits, and your knees are in your armpits, your arms all the way extended out here. The bat goes flying, your hat goes flying backward. And the ball, I don't even think the catcher got to it. Woo!
We need a split screen. I'm calling for split screen right now.
It just made me laugh because I remember how erratic he was with the Cubs. And he was way outside. Also, did you see the fun little audio and radio clips where they put all the audio together from Moneyball for the 20 straight wins? But because they never said win, they just pumped it over the box score for the White Sox when they lost their 20th straight. So
No.
they hit 20 straight losses, which I think I'd put a bullet in my head if the Reds lost 20 straight. But they're showing the box score, and you hear all the audio, we're going for 20! We're going for 20! It had me rolling on the ground. And then for the part the pork chop's going to like, I had one of the best glasses of chocolate milk in my life today. What's your favorite chocolate milk? Because mine isn't really chocolate milk, but it's chocolate milk. I know that sounds weird. I'll explain it in a minute.
Are you talking about something that you just get at the grocery store?
I don't care how you can make it. You can buy it at a restaurant. I don't care. Where is because I could have had a half gallon of this today.
I think the best one that I had is at I don't know if it was Speedway where I got it. I think it was, but it was Borden. Borden's chocolate milk is really good.
Borden's is good. I get that a lot, especially when I'm out in West Virginia. They have it a ton there. All right. I'm not kidding when I say that maybe it just hit right today. Maybe it was because I hit a craving the right way. The milk at the bottom of Cocoa Pebbles.
Oh, no.
Oh. I crushed like 3 glasses of that today. I had to eat a lot of Cocoa Pebbles to get that much milk, but it was good. It was really good. Now,
for some reason, Ellie's not stealing. There's been 6 pitches, and he hasn't made the attempt yet.
It's a hell of a split screen.
There he goes, and a dribbler to first. So much for that.
And Ellie's at third.
Inning is over.
But no, I was killing the cereal milk today. That was hitting the spot. Make fun of me if you will.
Yeah,
that was some of the best. I think serious chocolate is like good for like a shot glass worth. If you drink too much of that, I think you die. I don't really know what the after effects are. Well, I'll say this. I don't know if you remember this or not. It was probably about 15 years ago. When I was in high school, there was something called there was the gallon challenge, where kids were drinking a gallon of milk and seeing if they could keep it down.
Ugh.
You had an hour to drink it, which I was like, an hour. This will be gone in 10 minutes. So, but I was like, I'm going to up the ante. I'm going to give myself half an hour to drink half a gallon of serious chocolate milk.
Yeah, that was one of the worst things you ever did.
Listen, I got it down. I did not throw it up. But for 2 days straight, I shit my brains out. It was so bad and it was within about 10 minutes of finishing it. My body was like, I don't know what you've put in me, but we're getting rid of it now, and it's liquid. So it was like soda fountain, straight into the toilet. Serious. So I don't think I digested it. It got the fast pass straight to the line.
Well, Darth Bengal has just joined us.
Okay, I know he's been listening on and off.
Yeah, he has a player. He says it's going to be unpopular that he would sacrifice for the betterment of Joe Burrow's playing all the games. I really am curious to see what who it is.
Here's an update from Pork Chop about your barn.
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay. Been
Come on,
driving.
Darth.
Going to be in the chat.
Come on,
So,
Darth.
They invited me out to dinner tonight, but as I told you, I was about $2,000 short on a paycheck this month. That's yay. Hit my bonus and still didn't make any money. Isn't that great? But they went to a place called the Crafty Crab tonight. I don't know. Are you familiar with anything like that?
Sounds terrible.
Well, you don't like seafood. I'm going to describe what it is they're getting. And I want you to tell me how many pieces of this you would eat. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
First off, they bring it to your table in a giant grocery or garbage bag. Set the garbage bag in front of you. Sound good so far?
No.
Okay. Open the garbage bag, put your gloves on. Inside the garbage bag, and they set the garbage bag in a bowl, so it's got like a little bit of, or a tray, something with a lip around it, so it doesn't just spill everywhere. It's basically melted butter sauce at the bottom. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
The accoutrement, if you will, traditional, shrimp, crab, lobster, potatoes, mini corn on the cob, sausage, and hard-boiled eggs. You ready?
Sure.
Okay. It's about $30 a pop. And you just eat fish out of a garbage bag.
That's terrible.
It's actually really good, but I understand why you wouldn't like it.
What restaurant makes this their way of serving food?
Probably half the restaurants in Louisiana. It's called a seafood boil. But this is the Crafty Crab. Not to be confused
Well, that's
with the
right.
Krusty
You did say that.
The Crafty Crab.
Well, hopefully in February, I'll experience that from afar in New Orleans.
Pork Chop said he's going to get crabs.
Well, I guess Darth Bengal is not going to educate us or elaborate on who he would summons to take a bullet.
All right, I'm opening a picture to share with you this seafood boil, just so you can get an idea of what you'd be getting into tonight. I want your honest opinion, 10 out of 10, how this makes you feel.
It doesn't look as bad as the way you described it.
No, I tried to make it sound terrible.
I was picturing the dark green or black.
No, it's and there's crabs and mussels. The corn is seasoned well. There's lemon juice. If you're into seasoned potatoes and corn, you could probably get by with it. But that's what they're going for tonight. I've made them at home before. Tuesdays when my friends come over at night, which I don't think we're doing anything tonight because I feel like trash. That's kind of we've done that before. Did I tell you I made oxtail one night?
No.
Oh yeah, we had a Caribbean night where I made Here's going to be one of those things that make you cross your eyes and go, huh? You ever heard rice and peas?
Rice and peas?
Yeah.
No.
I'm going to give you two guesses what the ingredients are to rice and peas.
Rice?
Yep.
Peas?
No.
No.
This is the part that threw me for a loop. Black beans.
Huh.
So that's not a pea, but all right. That's a bean.
Well,
But
I think we're about to see something that isn't the rule you're not allowed to block the base now in baseball?
Yeah.
You got to slide into it. What if you are on the run and you're catching the ball and your momentum carries you to the base and your foot happens to be right in front of it due to your momentum carrying you there?
Then that's fine. By rule, if the throw carries you into the base path, you're fine. That's the rule.
Yeah, they hit a man at second and one out. The Marlins did, and they hit a ground ball to Ellie, who decided to throw to third, and he hit Marte in stride. And when Marte caught it, his right foot was laying completely in front of the bag, and got slid right into Marte's foot. And now the replay is there, and they did officially call him out.
Yep, you're allowed to. Anywho, I made braised oxtail, which was actually probably the best smelling thing I've made in my life. Keep in mind, it's just beef. It's just cut from the tail, as opposed to anything else. It's still, once it was cooked right, it fell apart like pot roast. It's just a tougher cut of meat, not a whole lot of fat, so you got to cook it longer. But the spices, there was a kind of like a red wine gravy that went with it. The rice and beans that had some Cajun seasoning to it. Made collard greens, baked mac and cheese. Basically, I have a friend who will say, I'm trying to earn the invite to the cookout. I don't know if you know what that means or not.
No.
It's when black people approve of white people cooking because we are known for not seasoning our food. So every time he comes over, I try to send him home with a plate that, maybe Mama would approve of. And every single time, the way the conversation went when they found out, because I think he's got Caribbean roots. And this was very much a Caribbean dish, and I've never tried it before. He said, Mama, he's cooking oxtail, he's cooking rice and peas, collard greens, and mac and cheese. And she goes, is he white? And he goes, yeah. She went, I don't know how I feel about this. He ate probably 4 or 5 platefuls and texted his mom after, that white boy can cook. And I went, a win.
A win. All right. Well, I'm going to bow out of here. It's been about an hour. We haven't talked a whole lot of sports.
It's August. And it's the wrong part of August, which is only like 4 more days. Thank God.
Thank goodness.
Hopefully Tuesday we're going, did you see what Shedrick Jackson did? How are they going to keep him out? Something like that.
Yeah. All right. Nice
All
show.
right. Yay. Oh, I have an update. I don't know if I told you this one or not because I tried to tell you and then I fell asleep, so I don't know if I actually told you or not. Project Game Day. I'm pretty sure we're done securing sponsors and donations. This one's not an official sponsor. It's not a partnership, but they have promised to donate 2 games worth of cookies to us.
Ooh.
Got off the phone with them today. Greg and I had about a 20-minute meeting.
Oh, I know who it's going to be since you said Greg.
Yeah, with Buskin Bakery.
I'm telling you, can they donate a couple twice iced chocolate donuts?
I'll tell you what I got. It's not your favorite, but they're going to go.
Stevenson with a drive. Home run.
Okay.
Another one to dead center field. He likes doing that.
We got a
case.
case one case for the first 2 games each. So 2 cases, 1 per game, of the iced sugar cookies that they make.
Like the smiley face guys?
No.
Are they going to be Bengal cookies?
They are orange with black tiger stripes.
They're shiesty cookies.
And we got 96 of them per home game. 96. That's awesome.
Well, when I get there, you're going to have 90 left.
Yeah. So, Project Game Day is trucking along. They seem to really like what we presented to them, and they said we're going to give you a case for the Patriots game, a case for the Monday night game. They said after that we'll reconvene in October and see what we can keep doing. I said, you got it. So we got a lot going on. We're going to have a lot of food this year, a lot of fun. And September, is it the 8th? September 8th?
September 8th.
Can't get here fast enough. We're,
Yep.
33 days away?
33 days away. By the way, what were you doing on the 3rd of July? Because that was 33 days ago.
I don't even know.
The 4th of July just didn't seem that far away ago.
No, July was only 5. It was only 5 days ago. It's going quick. I'm not going to be able to remember. I remember I was probably licking my wounds from an awful June at work, trying to get my head back together.
All right. I'm out.
All right, let's roll the video. Thank you to everybody, our normal people that joined. We're going to be working to build this audience back up and trying to actually remind people when we're on Tuesday at 6. For those of you who didn't know, we changed our schedule. Thank you. And tip your waitresses.
And right into the stretch. Looking back and throws up the middle. Rose is on his way around.